but increasingly I'm getting so anxious about hosting this event. And so I called Jimmy Kimmel because I thought that if I had a video like that, it might give me some credibility with the audience, where it felt like every relevant topic would be a minefield, you know, but which is always, by the way, somewhat the case in comedy when you perform for a specific group of people. Like I remember the most extreme example I've had was I was performing at a Christian college, and it was a weird show. It was in a giant gymnasium, and there was a 30-foot crucifix on the wall. And I thought that was funny, you know, because I was thinking, like, if Jesus were there, what would he say? Like, use the elliptical, you know, because... Because I think about Jesus a lot, you know what I mean? Like, I went to Catholic school for 9 years, and they teach it to you when you're so young, you're 7, and they're like, there's this guy, Jesus, and he loves you, and you love him too, right? And you're like, wait, do I know this guy? And they're like, oh yeah, there's this guy, Jesus, who everybody loves, because he loves everybody, and a long time ago he died, and it's not totally your fault. So... don't be scared or sad, because he's in heaven now with his dad, who's also God, and there's this other thing called the Holy Spirit that no one really understands, and then all three of these things are a cluster that are staring at you all the time. If you have any questions, just pop into that strange broom closet in the corner with Father Steve, who no one's done a background check on, and don't forget to mention if you've been masturbating, because he's fascinated by that. And angry, but mostly fascinated. And starts innocently enough, as innocently as man-boy love can start. You sort of accept there's this guy, Jesus, and he loves you, but he's dead, and he's bleeding, but he's in great shape. And I actually really enjoyed church when I was a kid. Like, my favorite part was the hymns. We'd sing this one that goes, Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. You guys, yeah. You know that one? It's a hit. It's been #1 on the charts for 47,000 weeks in a row. Pretty sure it's gone myrrh at this point. That's right. That's our rare myrrh joke. That joke is comedy myrrh. And, no, I love that song. Lyrically, very concise. You got Christ, he's the protagonist, and then he died, which is sad. Then he's risen, which is unexpected. And then he'll come again, which, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm rooting for that part. I feel like, you know, thanks for coming. Appreciate the books, but do we really want him to come again? Like, if he comes again, he's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be like, I don't understand. How come these people are so rich and these people are so poor? Because he's Jewish, right? Like, he'd have a Jewish effect. How come these people have thousands of loaves and these people have half a loaf? Because he's a socialist. He's a Jewish socialist. He's the least popular modern demographic, especially with Christians. I mean, he's the original Bernie Sanders. You know that, right? I mean, Jesus would never win in the general, but so my brother Joe, who's here with me tonight, he really taught me what jokes were when I was a kid. He used to sing parodies of these hymns while we sang the actual. He was like the Weird Al Yankovic of church. He'd go, Christ has lied, Christ was in prison, Christ will come at 10. By far my favorite line, this idea that Christ will be arriving at a very specific time. Because Christ is an on-time person. That's one thing you should know. He's the punctual Savior. So I'm talking about all this on stage in this Christian college gymnasium, and it's not connecting. You know, it's... And it was really sort of awkward backstage after the show between me and this guy who booked me. He was just like, why? Why would you talk about Jesus for 10 minutes on stage? And I didn't have the best answer, but I feel like it's good enough to share with you guys. I said, Jesus died so I could tell those jokes. In fairness to the Christian college organizer, I am a pretty safe bet as far as comedians go. I don't curse gratuitously on stage, which has a lot to do with my mom. When I moved to New York, she was upset, and I go, why? And she said, I just don't want you to become one of those dirty comedians. And I said, okay. And she said, you don't have to use those words to be funny. For example, Oprah's very funny. And I said, maybe to Gail. Or even Stedman when they let him in on it. But I don't know. I don't know if you understand my goals, Mom. I'm not trying to be the queen of daytime. But because my mom and I are so close, I really tried not to curse a lot over the years on stage. And at this point, I've released 4 comedy albums, and none of them have the explicit lyrics label on them. But sometimes I feel conflicted about that, because a lot of comedians I admire most did curse on stage, Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor, and then some of them who famously don't curse are secretly criminals. This is fun for me, just watching 50 people mouth Bill Cosby. And then there's this odd thing about not cursing, which is sometimes you're booked in places just for that reason. Like a few years ago, I got booked to perform with the Muppets, which is a great honor. You know, I grew up on the Muppets, and it was a Canadian television special hosted by them, and I had to follow Fozzie Bear. I'll tell you something about Fozzie Bear. He's actually a pretty good comedian. Well, I feel like I have to make that point because the joke of Fozzie, I guess, is that like he's a bad comedian who also is a bear. But Fozzie, like, following Fozzie is like nearly impossible. Like, he's killing on stage. Killing. Even when he's not killing, he's killing because he's got that joke parachute catchphrase, waka, 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 which is his get her done, by the way. I don't know if you thought about that before, but I'm watching Fozzie from the wings, and it's dawning on me like, oh, this show isn't going to go well for me for a very specific reason. When people go to see the Muppets, they don't want to see people. They just want to see more Muppets. It's like when you're watching Sesame Street and Gordon and Maria wander in the frame, and you're like, out of there. We want to see more of the creature who lives in the garbage. So Fozzie's killing, and then he's heckled off the stage by Statler and Waldorf. That's the gay couple that lives in the balcony. If that's not the case, I'm very confused. They go to theater 7 nights a week, and they bitch about everything. I mean, what are the clues here? And so Statler and Waldorf heckle Fozzie, and then they introduce me, which is an insane precedent for hecklers. This idea that if a heckler defeats the comedian, they're now in charge of the show. It's like if a streaker ran onto Yankee Stadium, they just threw him a mitt. They're like, third base! I don't have a uniform! You know, and so they introduce me and they're mean. That's like Statler and Waldorf's thing. So one of them goes, this next guy walks in his sleep. Oh yeah? I like sleeping during his act. Ah! Please welcome Mike Birbiglia. And I jog onto stage. And I'm so flustered by being pre-heckled by these surreal puppets that I forgot to bring my stool, and I get to the center, and I look around, I go, ah, fuck. I'll tell you who doesn't like the word fuck. People who have purchased tickets to see the Muppets. And the Muppets. The people in the audience were like, ah! The Muppets were like, I go, sorry about that, and I jog off stage. And I jog back on stage, this time with the stool, but there's nothing I can do to get the audience on my side, because not only am I the guy who cursed on the Muppets, as far as these people know, I'm the guy who curses exclusively on the Muppets, not even in the context of a joke. I'm just this guy who jogs on stage, says, fuck, and then jogs off stage. I'm like the villain of the Muppets. I'm like fuck monster. Which is what I've been trying to get my wife to call me for years. So I'm bombing on the Muppets. It's literally the opposite of my childhood dream come true. I remember as a kid thinking, like, maybe someday I'll be on the Muppets, but I never thought, maybe someday I'll be on the Muppets, and it's not gonna go so well. After 10 minutes, I walk off stage. I'm not making this up. I was consoled by Kermit. He was like, I thought you were good. I was like, not now! Threw him up against the wall. No, it was... I felt terrible. I just felt like, oh, I have failed so profoundly. But then the more I mulled it over, the more I thought maybe I'm being overly prude on behalf of the Muppets. Like, if you think about it, the Muppets have seen a lot. The Muppets are like 70 years old. Like, you think when the cameras aren't rolling that Animal doesn't curse? You think Animal's never like, ah, this fucking snare drum sounds like shit. I'm pretty sure Janice has tried heroin. You know what I mean? Like, you think Janice is never like, Kermit, I am like so fucked up. Can I use your leg to tie off my arm? That's right, that's a Muppets heroin joke, and I'm pretty sure if there was a line, I stepped over it right there. That's what you always have to think about when you're writing jokes, is sort of where is the line?